Thank you so much, Stephen, for being here. I am really, really excited to hear specifically about like your entrepreneurial journey. You want to like take us back to like when did you decide you want to get into business and go on begin this journey?
Yeah, so I think I knew from a pretty young age that I was somebody that kind of wanted to do their own thing. And my family had a business, so I was kind of in a family of entrepreneurs. So that was my plan after high school was kind of just, not go to college. I was going to work for the family business and eventually one
What
day
was that family business? Just out of
uh
curiosity.
that was like a machine shop, like a CNC machining kind of place. So I worked there for probably I think about a year and a half, and I pretty quickly had, realized that that was not going to be the path for me. So I was trying to kind of figure out, I definitely knew that I wanted to do my own thing. I mean, that was very apparent. I didn't like answering to a boss and having somebody tell me what I needed to do when I needed to be there.
Oh,
So
I feel you on that.
yeah, I think a lot of people that are entrepreneurs definitely have been in that position at some point as well. So after I stopped working for my father, I kind of just was looking at finding my footing, dabbled in some various side hustles, and I remember in 2017, a friend had showed me a video of somebody just breaking something inside of this room with like a sledgehammer or something. And he's just like, "Hey man, like this is like a legit business. Like we should start this in our in New York in Rochester. It might do well." I was like, that is literally so ridiculous. And then I remember for some reason it just piqued my curiosity. I went home, I started looking at it online, and I saw that there was a bunch of these places all around. So I was like, man, they got to be making money. So at the time, I was kind of looking for something different. So it took a few weeks of contemplation, but I eventually decided to jump into that business and commit to
And this was
opening.
together with your friend or by yourself?
Yeah, this was together with my friend. He was really the one that was pushing me to do it. So him and I kind of embarked on the journey. This was the beginning of 2018. And when I say that we had no idea what we were doing, like we were literally clueless. We just knew that we
Tell me,
wanted to
like, what
like
did your days look like then? Like, you woke up and like, how did you decide what to do? What was your like actions? Like, be a little bit descriptive. I'm curious.
yeah, so our biggest concern was acquiring like smashables, breakables. So what our days, consisted of was going to like estate sales. If you ever heard of those, it's basically when people you just tour their house and they have all this stuff laid out. It's kind of a little more like organized in a garage sale. So we would go to a lot of those, and then as spring came in, we started going to a ton of garage sales. That's pretty much all of our time was spent is going around in a van and going
And
to these
where was
garage
like your
sales.
capital from? Where was your location? Where was like, did you have a place yet? Like a building for it?
Yeah, so we weren't really concerned with that at all. Our concern was with building up breakable inventory. We were pretty much just funding it all on our own. And I remember what had it like kind of given us that spark to really kick our butts in gear was we saw that there was a similar place opening up near us, and we knew how advantageous it was going to be for us to open up first. So that's when we really started hustling. We got in touch with accountants, attorneys, realtors, started looking for spaces. Unfortunately, that partnership did end, and I kind of just started doing it on my own. Um, but that was unfortunate, but it is what it is. So
What was like, if you were to start it over, just like lessons, like for other people who are listening, and
yeah,
if they're deciding if they should go into a partnership and you being on both sides of it, like, what's your perspective on partnerships in general?
yeah. So like I said, I had that partnership and it didn't work. I have partnerships now that work out very well. I think that, really one of the biggest things, and people might not want to hear this, but it's very important to have a partner that has something that you can't get or that would be very hard for you to get. Like perfect example for me right now is, I have a partner in one of my other stores in Syracuse where it's an hour and a half away from where I live. And, he lives out there. So, it's something that I can't get, him being feet on the ground there operationally is very advantageous for me since I live an hour and a half away. So I'd probably say for people looking to go into partnerships, they might be your best friend at the time, but there is going to come a point where things get serious. You disagree, and those thoughts come into your head like, "Hey, I can do this on my own. I don't need this person." So that would probably be my biggest piece of advice.
So from the time that you saw that there was a similar place opening up, was it exactly the same type of like Smash type of place, or was it something similar?
So they wanted to do like a bar with a Smash room where we kind of just wanted to be only a Smash room, but nevertheless, it was still, threatening from a competitive standpoint.
Right.
So that was really, what prompted us to get going.
And so from that time, from when you saw the ad or from when you found out that information that they were starting, how long did it take you to actually like open your doors?
So I think we saw their place opening in April, and I ended up opening the store in the end of October. So a little over 6 months from, really getting going with things.
And what do you think was like, looking back now, like your biggest mistakes you did at that time that you would do differently now?
I definitely think that I did not see things through enough. I did not plan ahead at all. I was always just, you know, but I mean, in my defense, I didn't really know what I should have been planning for because it was also so new to me. But I think I definitely would have like utilized like a professional network more. I would have tried to engage people that were knowledgeable in the areas that I was lacking, which was pretty much everything. But I did have like a score mentor. It's a great free program that was kind of helping me along the way. But going back, I really wish I would have tried to utilize and reach out to more people to help me get going.
So what did you like have to switch in yourself, in your business, in your life, like to actually make it be a success to what it is today?
Yeah, I mean, I think really one of the biggest things was a lot of people say most businesses are centered around sales and marketing. And I didn't really have experience in either of those things. So, we started off our first year, things were going well, but as summer came in, the weather got nice, less people started coming the door. So
What
I
does
remember,
things is going well mean? Like, how did you track that? Was it based on how many clients, based on revenue, based on like,
well, I mean, in the beginning, I was like, look, I'll be happy if I just keep the doors open. I mean, I was 21 years old and kind of just looking to get my feet wet. So, success to me at the time was just, breaking even, making a few $1,000s here and there. So that was kind of, my definition of things going well.
awesome? Yeah. Okay. So I cut your train of thought. So at that time, like people came in the winter and then summer came. So like, how were you able to continue from there?
Yeah. So, I mean, the business started to slow down. We started losing money. I knew we weren't going to last much longer. And I was like, hey, there's no bookings, but I'm here anyways. I'm going to just sit here and learn how to market. So I started reading books, started watching YouTube. Things were very low cost. Started, just getting out there, handing out flyers, business cards, you know, learning how to just optimize things like my website and SEO and all my digital profiles. Eventually that led into running paid ads. Um, so kind of just like all those things, like really just kicking it into gear and just, I think that a lot of entrepreneurs get to a point where they're like their business is in jeopardy of failing. And a lot of the time you might want to just give up. But at the end of the day, I think it's better to just go down fighting and say that you gave it everything that you had rather than just kind of throwing in the towel.
Oh yeah, I'm in agreement to you on that. So like now you're in a different stage. Like how many locations do you have now?
Yeah, so we opened up Syracuse in 2021, midway through 2021. And then we started
Is that during
franchising.
COVID or was like after COVID was like pretty much over?
So I mean, COVID was still going pretty strong towards the end of like 2020 and into 2021. So yeah, that was pretty much during COVID when we opened Syracuse, and then we started franchising, about 6 months after that, and we've sold six franchised locations all around the country. Mainly they've came in the last like 6 months. We've sold those franchises.
And what have you like on a personal level have like had to change to really have the success that you now have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of it is just knowing what you don't know. I kind of touched on this as I was starting up the business, but I think a lot of the times when you're an entrepreneur, you get a little bit like egotistical and just thinking that you know better than everyone. You've done this, you've done that, but sometimes you really just need to take a step back and be like, okay, I've done this, but I don't know as much as somebody who does it all day every day. I should try to value my time, let somebody that knows it better do it for me or tell me how it needs to get done rather than me just trying to do it myself.
Yeah, and what do you find your biggest challenge right now in business?
I think just for me that franchising is very unknown to me. Trying to basically guide people through opening a store exactly how I want it when I'm not physically there has been a big challenge. I know compliance is also something that's been very difficult. Of just you tell people that everything needs to be approved through you, but then that doesn't happen and things get messed up. Franchisees have to spend more money and people, get upset. You didn't tell us, or, oh, yours isn't like that, blah, blah, blah. So I'd say that that's been, a very big challenge is just not really being experienced with handling franchisees.
Yeah, a bit like when you were starting the business, right? Like technically franchising is like it's the same business, but like the actions of what you have to do and like the model and everything, like how you make money from it is different than like when you first opened your doors.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always like equate it to like, if you walk into like, McDonald's or a Starbucks, they all look the same. They all operate the same for the most part. I mean, those companies have done a tremendous amount of work on their back end, making sure that everything runs smooth. It does not matter which one of, 10,000 McDonald's locations you walk into, you're going to get the same food, the same service, the same atmosphere. So, that it's very challenging and very difficult to accomplish that.
Yeah. Do you think that if I would walk into all your stores, I would get the same like experience?
Yeah, I would say so. It's one of the main things that we're working on of just, how to accomplish that goal. But yeah, I would say for the most part, we keep things consistent as far as like the feel and the actual activities themselves.
How do you do that? Like what's some things that you have to like the specifics that you have to look out for to give it the same feel?
Yeah, so I know, all of our locations do have camera systems, so that definitely helps being able to kind of like monitor things remotely. We can also pay attention to their emails and stuff like that. But there's obviously, like site visits are needed to actually see with your own eyes and go through things. And it's just a matter of, saying like, hey, this needs to be adjusted. You guys need to do this differently. And we just keep track of it until it gets fixed.
Is it more of like the design and like the aesthetics and like the music and lighting type of thing, or is it more of like how the people treat the customers, etc.?
Yeah, I think that the more difficult thing is how people treat the customers and just kind of like move people through like the flow of like, going from like an interested customer to booking to leaving. Because like all the equipment and all of like, their build out and the layout of their store, all of that can be very easily controlled. The what's difficult to control is um monitoring how people are going about customer service. That seems to be very difficult, upholding the standards that we've set to give people, the same experience.
And do you think that people who start a franchise like have similar different like skill set or desires in relationship to someone who's completely starting a new business like you?
Honestly, I think that most people, when they're in like some kind of like retail establishment, one of their like long-term goals is to franchise just because it's such an effective way to scale. You're not using your own capital, you can do it a lot faster. So, I mean, I don't think that there's really anything in particular. I would say that anybody that desires to have like, the utmost amount of control might not um look at that as the best
What about the
option.
people that like the people that are coming to you, like the owners of the new franchises that are opening up, right? So
Like
do they have like I come to you and I tell you I want to open up one other Smash store, then like the skills that I have, are they different? Do you find them similar to people like you who like started the business completely from scratch?
Yeah, I definitely think that like pretty much every franchisee shares a lot of the similar thoughts and beliefs I have, at least business wise. I mean, usually these people are looking at numerous franchises, and obviously they chose us as their top pick. So I do find people have a lot of like the same qualities of like, they kind of wanted to like do something like fun, but where people were having a good time, and they really believed in like the whole like entertainment experience concept, and they believed in me as a person and what I've built as a business.
And most people who want to do it like come because like they've been to your original store, or they've come like because they know you. Like, why would a person decide to come and like franchise with you?
Yeah, so we run a lot of like advertisements on like, they're called franchise portals where people are like actively looking at starting a franchise or buying a business. So, they'll go to our landing page and kind of just check out everything that we're doing. And, fortunately, we are the only Rage Room franchise right now. So it's pretty much like, people want to start a Rage Room, they either do it on their own or they, buy them with us. So I would say that that's been definitely a huge thing with selling to people.
Something that you got first in on, just like you wanted like before that bar started it, right? Like to be that first.
Yeah, yeah. And I know you touched on like partners before, but I have two partners that started the franchise company with me. And like I said, they both have something that I can't get, and I have something that they can't get. And the partnership has worked out very well. I'd also say a partnership of three seems to work out a lot better than two, because you can usually kind of, two against one every time, where when you're just both 50-50, it's like, you disagree and there isn't really a way to like resolve things easily.
Yeah, yeah, I have heard that before. I've never had a business with a partner, but I have heard that three is the ideal number. I love that. So what's your goal? Like, do you want to have like a certain amount of franchisees, or like where do you see this going?
Yeah, so I think kind of like, a midterm to long-term goal is to have 100 stores. That's really the number I've had in my head for like a long time. It just seems like such a like a cool milestone, like 100 stores. Um, I think that it's very possible we end off this year with around like 15 franchises.
How long
And
does it take you from like if somebody deciding till the doors actually open?
honestly, it varies. It obviously varies a lot, but I'd probably say right now we're looking at like around like, like a 6 to 8 month window from the time they like sign their franchise agreement to when they open up their business.
Pretty cool. I love that. Awesome. And is that what you're most busy with now, like the franchising part?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I have, the two company-owned stores are in upstate New York. I still spend a fair bit of time with administrative tasks with those stores, but a lot of my time is dedicated towards either helping the franchisees or building things in the back end to make the company and the brand as a whole stronger.
Fantastic. Okay, so where can people find you, connect with you, go to one of your stores, all of the above?
Yeah, so I'd probably say the best way to like reach out to me like on a professional level would be on LinkedIn. I think I provided you my profile. I'm not sure if I did, but if you just search my name, Steven Shortino, you should be able to find me on there pretty easily. If you want to inquire about iSmash, if you just Google us, iSmash USA or iSmash Rage Rooms or iSmash, you should be able to find us pretty easily. And if you're interested in coming to one of the stores and franchising, there's ways to contact us on the website for both of those things.
Thank you so much, Steven. This was awesome chatting with you. I really appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for having me. It was a good time.